Talkin Sex Live with Chet and Diane is recorded in front of a live audience. This show is for mature audiences only. Hello, you are Talkin Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I am Chet Hart.
I'm Diane Hart.
And we are live streaming on Caffeine, as well as recording for podcasts, for YouTube, and also for your various podcast listening networks. We have our wonderful, awesome producer today and sex toy expert, along with polyamorous expert, Peter. How you doing today, Peter?
Oh, I'm doing so well, Chet and Diane. Just happy to be here always. It just makes my week when I get to be on your show with the two of you, two beautiful people talking about my favorite topics.
Yes, It is always good to help other people out. In case you're tuning in or listening for the first time, we are unlicensed sex therapists, meaning that we've never actually gone to school for any type of sexual therapy. We're just a couple who's had a lot of sex, and we want to share our knowledge about the topic with the world. And so we'll be answering questions. If anybody ever has any questions when they're tuning in on Caffeine, you can go ahead and type it in the message board. We will get to your question in between callers or after the callers have been done for the night. But yeah, what have you been up to there, Peter? The pandemic's all panning out here. You are now going to be you're out and about having fun. Is that correct?
Yeah, my partners, everyone's vaccinated at this point. There was a bit of negotiation to ensure that the people that they have relationships with that aren't necessarily part of the same circle that I'm in are also vaccinated. Honestly, though, it's a similar situation that you run into when you're fluid bonded, and you have to make sure that everyone is safe with the people that they're having relationships with, having sexual contact with, because of course anything that they have gets brought back in to you. So it's honestly it's not too unusual for us. It's just that usually you don't have a vaccine against your concerns. So in some ways it's nice.
I mean, I can imagine that you just treat it like you would treat other like syphilis or any other type of STIs in general. It's just like throw in COVID is another one of those that you have to be cautious about. And
absolutely.
Except for you just can't, wear a condom and hope that you don't get COVID. It works a little different from that.
But again, it was nice that vaccines are an option for us at this point. We're all feeling much safer, and people are pretty excited to get back to their lives, see one another more.
I mean, we're starting to venture. Yeah, we're venturing out to start getting back into our normal lives as well. It's quite fun.
There was a girl in the grocery store without a mask on too yesterday when I went shopping.
So yeah, it's I guess if you veer over to like Orange County or San Diego County or even to Ventura County, they start there's different standards out there. And so I mean, some of the parties that we've gone to, the kind of sex parties that we go to have been outside of LA County. So, but yeah, well, we're venturing and trying to bring things back again, but. So we got a good lineup of callers, I assume, hopefully.
Yes.
Who's calling in first tonight there?
Well, our first guests, plural, our first callers, are Clem and Thelma, and they're an older couple, and they're looking for ways to spice up their love lives. I guess in their later years. So let's hear from them.
Okay, you are Talkin Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I am Chet.
I'm Diane.
And is this Clem and
Thelma? And what's your question for us today?
I'm Thelma.
Hi, Thelma.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm Clem.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Hi. We decided to call in because we're big fans of the show, and we have a couple of sex questions.
No problem.
Lay it on us.
That's what we're here for.
Getting crazy. We just, we're just excited to be on the show. It's a big, I feel like we're on a newfangled technological journey.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a contestant on what's that show you watch? RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh,
I feel
wow,
like
I
I'm,
didn't know
I'm
that
a
was
contestant,
didn't know those kind of questions on
and
that.
I have gotten and I've gotten pretty. Clem's got me into watching the Drag Race. But we have a question. So we're what we call in our golden years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And we're really trying. It's just been hard because we've been married since 1970.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to give away my age.
Congrats.
But
Thank you.
the sex life could be a little spicier.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, well, there are many options. I mean, you could try role playing. Somebody could be a sexy cop and arrest the other person. Or you could be a burglar and be like, I'm going to have my way with you while I rob you.
Or like Clem could be Ellen and I could be Portia.
Mm-hmm.
sure, yeah. That's
Oh,
what you're into.
yes.
too.
I do have a wig
Yeah.
that kind of would work for that kind of scenario. We're not into the cops and robbers. We definitely do not like the homeless population that's
Oh,
around our
okay.
home. We
Uh-huh.
really don't want
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's whatever turns
we
you
all-
on.
well,
Do you guys have any kinks? Are you into anything that you might see as kind of forbidden?
Kinks like I have a kink in the rug. I have been having the hardest time because once you get a kink in your rug,
That's not
it's
what
really
we're
hard. You have to lay down a towel and then get out an iron and really
Yeah,
get
and
it.
then-
I've got arthritis, so it's hard to get it
and
out.
I lay down a runner, so
Okay.
we don't try to get any kind of traction on our rugs. If you have a nice runner laid down, then it will keep it nice. But me and my
And
boys down at
clean.
the Legion Hall, we kind of get up to some stuff after we've knocked back a few beers.
Got
And
it.
that's kind of what I'm looking for, is that kind of kinship.
Got it. So, but
Right. Now Clem always says to me and the boys, we really know how to just have camaraderie. I've seen them actually. They love to dance. Clem is quite the dancer, and I've seen him practice dancing with his friends,
okay.
Jeb. And I've seen them do the ballroom dance, and they don't know I watch it. But I come down and I see them. They're just dancing slow, and I think to myself, now that right there, that is what I want with Clem.
So you want to just
Yes,
dance with
that's
them?
kind
Go
of,
out
I
dancing?
didn't know.
Or maybe you should
Yeah.
have his friends over, and then you guys can. Are you into group sex or?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
I'm just. You
gonna
said
say-
spice it up a little bit.
I was going to
is
say
that?
dancing with their...
Oh yeah,
each other.
dancing.
I said spicy. I didn't say like some sort of crazy foreign person or something.
Whoa! I
No.
mean,
Look,
Well, you
Chet,
could
nothing
dance
wrong
with
with
Diane.
foreign people, but
No.
go ahead.
hey,
Well, I've heard that there's a lot of foreign people, and of course the Mormons as well, that they like to do group stuff. And let me tell you something: if Jesus wanted us to be with more than one person, He'd give us more than one genital.
Okay, well, you said
exactly.
spice it
Now
up. I
that's
was
some
just
sense.
yeah.
Thank you,
You could
Clem. Thank
also-
you, Clem. But I just go ahead.
You could also get some sexy lingerie
Mm-hmm,
and try that
And then
on
what
and
size would I get
surprise
for
him.
Clem? Like what size would I get for Clem?
Well, for him, you want him
Oh,
in
you want
lingerie?
him to have lingerie? I mean, that works.
Oh,
He
you
can,
need
men
me
can
in
be
lingerie.
sexy too.
Well, you both could have lingerie. They
Well,
have some
let's
sexy
ask real
men's
quick here, because
too.
Clem, I think this might be a relevant question given something I might have picked up on earlier. What sort of lingerie would you like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have quite a collection, and it seems like I've been taught slow dancing. Maybe the third drawer on the left has some nice lacy things, and it's mainly for just having and
Well,
looking
Clem-
at for that.
Right, but Clem also, he has a lot of mannequins, and he just loves, he's actually going to be opening up a plastic museum. So
Okay.
he has lots of ladies' undergarments and things of that nature, and he likes
That
to
is
dress
why I
them
have
up.
them for the lady museum.
That is exactly for his museum.
Got it.
He's
So-
got a load of makeup, and sometimes I say to him, "You would look real pretty with that makeup
So
on."
maybe your kink is a little him dressing and drag.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not
wearing
at all.
women's clothing.
I'm sorry. I mean, I like the RuPaul, and he's a silly little man, but again, I don't think Jesus would approve.
Well, there's nothing in the Bible about cross-dressing.
I'm hearing a
Well,
lot
there's
from...
nothing in the Bible about me turning Ellen on when we're getting a little hanky-panky on, but Clem always makes me turn her right off.
Oh. All right, what were you saying, Peter?
Something about that grating kindness I just can't get behind.
But for me, I find the haircut and sort of the shoulder area to be just very pleasant and pleasing to look at.
Now, I'm hearing a lot, Thelma, about what you're looking for, what you want in this situation. I'm not hearing a lot from Clem, and I think it might help us because it seems like there's a lot of question marks about your kinks and your interests and what you want to spice things up with, and your concerns. But I'm very curious what problems Clem might be finding or what kind of interests he has.
I mean, I don't see any sort of issue. We have sexual relations once a year, and before that we had
that's not enough.
3 times to produce 3 beautiful children. I'm
Oh,
fine
wow.
with being in a
Beautiful
separate
children.
room, and I go down to the Legion Club with my boys, and we hang out like it should be, separate but equal.
Got it. So, but here's the thing: is
They
that
do a lot of wrestling there too, which I think, so I'll say Clem is in good shape, because him and the boys like to get together and wrestle down at the Legion Club, and I'm all for that. It's just, and I think he's a good looking man, but honestly, he's actually bulked up a little bit too much for my taste. I like a man to be soft, with soft skin and soft lips and curls.
okay? So it seems like Clem actually, it's okay if you want to dress up like a woman. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it turns you on, and if well, let's back up a little bit. Thelma, are you turned on when Clem dresses like a woman, or if he was to be dressed like a woman, or are you turned on by men in drag? That's the real question.
Or perhaps anyone who looks like a woman?
Yeah, that's okay too.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by turned on? Do I feel a quiver?
Yeah, sure.
Do my loins kind of get a little bit hot?
Mhm.
I mean, yes, but that is natural for a Christian woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we all have urges, and like the good Bible says, we suppress them and hang out with our boys down at the Legion Hall,
okay.
grow old, and just
Praise
simmer with
Jesus!
desire.
Praise Jesus!
Well, you
Yes,
asked
praise
it if you wanted to spice up your relationship here, and so we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. And it seems like you only had sex a few times a year, or a few times total.
one time a year.
One time a year.
One time.
And then 3 times for your children. But and to spice that up, maybe you should do something to turn the other person on. That's
You could give each other massages.
Bake a pie?
Huh?
Bake a pie,
Bake a
maybe?
pie,
Maybe
sure.
Bake a
hot
pie. You could give them a nice
Clem
sensual
loves hot pie.
massage.
yeah, and it seems.
I'm just going to throw out here.
Mhm.
I know the idea here is to solve relationship problems. I'm just wondering if the two of you sexually are providing what the other one needs at all.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you need to really dig deep and look and see what it is that your individual needs are. And that may require some very difficult decisions that might not be in line with your ideologies, but might be in line with what's going on deep down in your hearts, and to bring spirituality into this, your souls. Because I'm getting some underlying senses here that each of you is seeking something that the other one is just plain not equipped with, if you get my hints.
Well,
That is true. Clem has been balding.
oh
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
So
She
maybe
does have,
he needs to wear a toupee. Maybe that's
or
it.
just a wig that's
maybe
longer.
you need to get dentures,
Or a
babe.
beanie.
Yeah, I mean, so what makes you feel happy is what you got to ask yourself. And if do you
Well,
feel
playing softball with the girls. I
Mhm.
mean, that's a big one. Working on
Hanging
my
out in the
truck.
basement with Jeb.
Okay,
You know.
so
Well, you guys need to do stuff together that connects you both, so you can also be more intimate with each other.
yeah, so I'm trying to figure
Maybe do a
more
date night.
more with Clint there. So what would make you happy? I mean, does Thelma make you happy or does Jeb make you happy? Because you've been talking a lot about Jeb, and we should try to figure out if being with a man would actually make you a happy person. There's no reason
Well,
to
of
go
course,
through
the
life.
brotherhood
Okay,
is
the brotherhood.
important.
Mm-hmm.
But if we did not have every night at 5 p.m. our Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, I feel like Thelma and I would not survive. So we do enjoy
Yeah,
that
we would
time
fall
very
right
much.
apart.
Got it. So
I'm wondering if
I'm sorry. What is we would fall apart? Right,
oh,
Clint?
Jeopardy.
That's sense of humor too.
it sounds to me as though the two of you have a wonderful friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Oh,
wondering
that
roommates
if
is
right now.
true.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's possible that the two of you are so clouded by your ideas of your closeness as friends and the limitations that have been imposed upon you by certain ideologies that you might be missing the fact that you have very different needs romantically and sexually that are not being provided for by the other partner. It sounds like Clem would rather spend his time with the boys, and I get the feeling that Thelma has a real type that it sounds as though someone such as Ellen scratches that itch.
Mm-hmm.
You may have very different interests than you realize or have allowed yourselves to. I don't know how blunt I can be here, but
So have you read the book Men Are From the Mars and the Women Are from
Venus.
Women
other
are
places?
from the Venus.
Yes.
Actually, I
good.
did
Yeah.
read
Yeah,
that
we
book.
are different creatures.
it's a bit problematic, but yes.
Sure. Well, you also have to take into account, like, just because there's a preordained type of sexuality that is in some religions doesn't exactly mean that that's how it is. If you feel that
Well,
you're
I'll be
attracted to
honest
men
with you.
and you're a man,
I'll be honest
Go ahead.
with you. That sounds like something someone's going to hell would say.
well, I don't know.
No
like,
offense.
there's really there's some very questionable verses in the Bible that would point out homosexuality. One of them is in Leviticus.
What?
Yeah, and
That
in
doesn't even exist in our small town. No one here would even be. Even when we were growing up, that was not a word or a real thing.
homosexuality
happy.
or Leviticus. Gay. Okay. Yeah,
Gay,
it's
Leviticus
okay.
or
happy.
sexuality.
Lesbian?
Diane here's bisexual. It means she likes men
Been
and
with
women.
more women than he has.
Yeah, that's right. That's how it works. So, and
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Mhm.
But
But,
in lesbian was that like that nice Danny Thomas who
Danny.
started
Ooh.
St. Jude's Hospital? He was one of them lesbians.
Danny Thomas,
Mhm.
the actor.
Yes, he was a lesbian.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, maybe he ate a lot of pussy, but I don't think that makes him a lesbian.
Yeah, he was from Lebanon.
Right.
He was
I was
from
just going to say, I
Lebanon.
think you mean Lebanese.
Oh,
lesbian.
Lebanese, not lesbian.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? My father was a hack comedian.
Got it.
Got it.
Uh,
All right.
But
I think it might be a good idea, perhaps, for the two of you, since you say you live in a small town. Maybe find your way to a nearby city. Check out the nightlife in the city, and maybe walk around a bit. Find some bars.
Okay.
Perhaps you might each find a different bar that suits your interests.
Oh, I like that.
You might want to look for bars that happen to have some very happy rainbows on them. And
I love rainbows.
I know they're one of God's symbols, so I'm sure that would interest you.
Yeah.
And then I think Clem, you might find a bar that you happen to notice a lot of men going into, and that one you might have a really good time there. And there are some
Yes,
where
I would very much like that.
and you might notice, Thelma, that there are some clubs that just happen to be all ladies spend the night there.
I wonder if there's going to be a sewing circle too. Oh,
Maybe.
fingers crossed.
Maybe
Perhaps
it
so.
could be somewhat of a sewing
Circle.
triangle. Or,
Certainly something they might
kind of
call that.
triangle,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And maybe the two of you might have a great time there and open up a bit and maybe experience some new things that you haven't experienced before that bring some extra joy to your lives. And in a way, you're experiencing it together since you're going out together. But you might find some fun apart that expands your world.
Oh, well, that sounds pleasant.
Yeah, it seems like
I am glad. Thank you so much, Petey.
No problem. Sounds like you two are actually like you're very you support each other, and you want each other to be happy, and you're happy living together. But I feel like there's another level where you guys can go ahead and explore to take kind of your life to the next level, and I think what Peter's suggesting is a good thing to try out. So I hope that answers your questions, guys. Please,
yes, sir.
Please stay safe, and sex positive is like what we like to say on this show. I don't know if that registers for you, but please stay sex positive, and have a good night.
Well, howdy do.
So much.
Okay. All right. Howdy do indeed. Oh, wow. That was quite the...
That was quite a journey.
Yeah,
yes,
it was,
wasn't it?
Yeah, so I
seems like a couple that is not in touch with their
they sound
bisexual side. And
they sound like great friends.
Yeah.
But that sounds like what they've always been, and didn't fully comprehend that because they have a certain hang up. And I don't mean to be too critical of religion. There's a lot of wonderful things that can be found in religion for a lot of people. It does tend certain sects of it seem to bring some shame upon some natural instincts and natural persuasions, and that's really sad for someone like that to go all the way through their lives and not really fully know who they are.
Exactly. It's just like, how many other people are there out there who are basically living in a closet? I mean, they're closet homosexuals who feel that they're oppressed and that what they believe is wrong, and so they're just going to closet it up and not express themselves and never actually truly be happy. It is sad, and I hope that there was some way that they can find themselves and find happiness.
No pun intended, but hopefully we gave them a bit of a backdoor entrance to figuring out who they are.
Yeah, I like that. Always good with the puns.
We have someone in the waiting room.
All right, who's calling in now?
All right, let's. We have Chauncey Martin on the line, and Chauncey has a question about taking sexual relationships with inanimate objects to the next level.
Okay.
Hello, you're talking Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I'm Chet.
I'm Diane.
Is this Chauncey?
Hi. How are you this evening?
Oh, we're great.
We're good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm, what's the word? I'm just delighted to be on the phone with you tonight.
Of course. Yeah, that's great. So,
we're happy to have you here.
Chauncey, so Peter, our producer, is saying that you like to have sex with inanimate objects. Is that correct? Is that what you're trying to ask us about, or?
Well, one in particular.
Okay.
Quick backstory. My best friend growing up, my only friend, was Buddy, my little stuffed Care Bear.
Okay.
Been with me through thick and thin, and well, at the age of 19, that relationship turned sexual.
Okay.
And I'm 42 now.
Wow.
I play the xylophone in the avant-garde jazz band.
Okay.
And, well, I'm just not getting the emotional support from Buddy that I once did.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's okay. I mean, to start off with some type of toy that can please you, but at some point, I mean, you're gonna yearn for an actual relationship or companionship. Have you dated at all? Have you tried to find anybody that you want to, spend some time with or talk to? I don't know. Have you dated anybody?
Well, I've dipped my toe in that pool, so to speak, but I've yet to find another person who finds me sexually attractive.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
I do I do yearn for that support and that connection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hear the kids use those apps these days.
Yeah.
But if I were to go down that road, how do I this is a long relationship I've been in.
Yeah. Well, I guess you got to start distancing yourself from actually calling that a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but over time, it can be psychologically harming to you.
And debilitating.
Yeah.
Because
So
you're not really putting yourself out there to be intimate with another person, and that makes you vulnerable. And so maybe you were, I don't know, rejected in childhood. I mean, I'm not a therapist, but it kind of seems like something like that.
Yeah. So if you, there's a lot of different apps out there that you can try. There's just
Plenty of Fish, Bumble.
Yeah,
Well,
farmers only. Go
I
ahead
had an
there.
additional thought within that realm because, of course, it sounds like Buddy fills a specific niche for you, and maybe you need to get kind of a half step going there. Have you considered dating sites? There's a few out there, such as Furry Mate,
Yes.
Howler, Furzu. These are dating sites for furries.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's something you've interacted with before, but furries essentially are like big living stuffed animals in a sense. I don't want to dismiss them or minimize them to such a thing. There's far more to a furry than just that, but perhaps there's something in there that you would find attractive, and that they would find attractive in someone who is really in touch with the sensuality of a furry being, and maybe that might fill that for you.
Well, when I dress as a furry, is anyone able to see my face?
If you want to dress
any
up
part
like
of
a
my
furry
body?
as well, then that's something too. There's literally something for everyone out there, and you got to explore and try it out. There are people who dress up and as horses. That's a big one, or different animals, or different stuffed animals, and then they meet each other on these apps, or they meet each other at these parties, and they formulate a normal relationship. Well, a relationship. I mean, maybe not normal in the whole societal norms, but normal to them, and it should be normal because it's a relationship. And so it's really something that you just have to do a little bit of research and a little bit of exploring. And if it is tough for you to leave, is it Buddy? Is that your current partner?
Buddy, yes.
Yeah, maybe
Buddy.
you should just think about having a talk with Buddy about maybe exploring other avenues or exploring other stuffed animals. Set Buddy up with another stuffed animal. Just try to see other people or animals, and then.
Well, we've already discussed opening up our relationship.
Okay, good. That's the first step.
She wants to, but I don't.
Okay, so it's a female, or he?
He said he.
You said he. Sorry,
He.
I thought she said she. Okay, sorry. Yeah, if he wants to do that, then sorry, you said he wants
doesn't.
to. He has not. He does not want to.
Oh, he wants to. I
Okay.
don't.
Okay, there you go. So
I'm a monogamous. I'm monogamous from head to toe.
got it. Well, it seems like you're asking us how to venture out. So I feel like even though you're telling us one thing, you want another thing. Is that correct?
I'm torn.
Okay.
You know, I'm at a fork in the road. You know, I feel like I need to cut bait with Buddy and try something new.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's out there.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, again, do a lot of research, especially about the furries. You can go into a deep dive into that whole subculture there of BDSM and kink, and it will really open up your eyes, and you'll find some pretty amazing things that you might be into and you might have a good time with. what do you mind if I ask what city you're in, or what's the biggest metropolitan area that you're in?
Oh yes, I'm about 20 minutes southeast of Seattle, Washington.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm sure
So-
there's a big community there for all sorts of kink. I mean, Seattle's a major town. It's
So
a
you're-
northwestern community.
You're near Kent, Washington, maybe something like that. Yeah, there's a big Capitol Hill has a lot of good places that you can look into. There's a big community up in Capitol Hill area. Yeah, I don't know if Tacoma has anything good, but yeah, you'll definitely be able to find some good communities out there. They're very liberal in Washington, especially Western Washington. Yeah, you'll definitely.
Yeah, my
be able to find some
dentist
stuff.
is in Auburn.
Okay.
I'm there twice a year.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, and it's okay to travel, or just strike up a relationship online, and before you know it, you'll try to meet this person, and then maybe it'll work out, and you'll be a happy person. So
Well, thank you.
no problem. Peter, you have any other thoughts?
I'll put my explorer cap on and I'll start exploring the world.
Got it.
Yeah, just open yourself up bit by bit and see. I think the biggest thing, though, is check in with yourself, really, and see what it is that buddy does for you, so that you know what it is you might be looking for in a relationship that might give you the rest of what it is that you need. So just be open and honest with yourself about your needs and build off of that.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
You so much.
All right.
Well, have a good night. I hope that we solved your problem there, or at least helped you out, pointed in the right direction. Please stay safe and sane and sex positive. Have a good night there.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Well, I think that's a first. We haven't had someone who is solely constricted to loving an inanimate object.
We had one caller in that was obsessed with his sex dolls.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess that's a little different. It's an object that's intended for sex.
Yeah.
Right.
Is a stuffed animal. Yeah, not really. So
Yeah. It's not as uncommon as it seems, especially if you've got something that you've got that much of a personal emotional connection to, such as a stuffed animal. You can see how some people, especially if they have difficulty opening up with people, but we're always open with the animal. It's much the way someone might see a childhood friend who eventually becomes a romantic partner to them. Obviously, there are additional concerns there and mental health aspects that need to be accounted for. And again, I can't diagnose. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and so I don't mean to even imply that there's anything wrong with Chauncey. It's not that, but certainly it sounds as though Chauncey himself isn't particularly happy with the situation, and so for that, I think he might need some help, and maybe that needs some professional help, but at least it certainly needs him to explore and see where he needs to be.
The most alarming thing was that it started to become sexual when he was 18 instead of exploring, people that he was. I mean, that's sexual kind of activity starts around like 15, 16 for males and females. And
For some.
It doesn't have to. But then once you get into the age 18 and you are strictly being monogamous with an imaginary friend or a stuffed animal, and then you carry that on till you're 40 years old, I wouldn't say it's alarming, but it's something that
Needs to be addressed.
It
with
does.
A proper
It seems like a red flag of sorts. Absolutely. It
physician,
definitely.
psychologist.
yeah. So, but I don't know. What's have you had any type of did you, when you were growing up, did you have any type of sex with inanimate objects or stuffed animals? I had when I was young, like 7, 8, I would pretend to have sex with a doll, or not a doll, but just like a stuffed rabbit or something like that, just because I would get a boner or an erection, when I was a child, and then I was like, hey, this feels good. What about you there, Peter?
I mean, I think it's no surprise that I ended up in the expertise that I am. It was all makeshift toys when I was growing up and experimenting. So it was any object I could fit inside just about would be something I would experiment with, or perhaps some that could fit inside various parts of me. And so, yeah, small toys that were tubular in shape that I could play with and experiment with. Few things I didn't know what sounding was at the time, but I was apparently doing it in retrospect. It's inserting a toy into the urethra, all sorts of various ways of playing with one's body that, eventually were replaced with professional toys designed for the purpose, as opposed to random objects I had lying around that probably weren't the safest and the cleanest to be using.
Yeah, that's the
We
thing.
all start
Is that
somewhere.
when you're too ashamed to buy, or not ashamed, or just not really, you don't want to buy a sex toy, you start to experiment with some other toys that you can possibly use around the house, and sometimes, most times, they're not made to actually, put your penis in or put into your body. They're not designed correctly. And so, I don't. For those who are exploring that, Peter, what's some suggestions that you have for some homemade kind of sex toys that you think that people would be able to use and have and still be safe?
It depends on the gender, certainly. There's a lot of food-based toys that people will go with, and food is, I mean, if it's safe to consume, so generally speaking, it would be to some degree safe for sexual purposes. So for women, of course, I mean, it's an old joke of using cucumbers or zucchini, usually lightly microwave to warm up and soften a little bit so that they more simulate the feel of a penis. Again, as long as they're well washed and aren't nicked in some way, so that there might be some kind of bacteria. Those generally work well. Women should avoid, though, sugar-based, like fruits for insertion, for instance, because that's how you get a yeast infection. For men, there's typically various objects that they can hollow out. I know commonly people have used watermelons, pineapples. Pineapple concerns me because it's very acidic. So, but then again, that might create a certain sensation that is exactly what you're looking for. So I think food is certainly one of the safer things you could play with that isn't a professional sex toy.
Got it.
Besides that, vibrating devices. I mean, there's so many things that we have about our homes that vibrate for other reasons.
Toothbrushes.
Exactly. I was going to
Toothbrushes.
say a toothbrush is perfect, and you can get one of those quite cheaply, and they produce quite a sensation. So if you're looking for something you can pick up at a general department store that isn't going to get attention, if that's concerning to you, and that is legal to people who are under the age of 18 or 21, depending on the laws where they are, that's a great option.
So when before I started venturing into sex toys, when I was single, I would get it was a surgical glove that everybody can have. A lot of people have now, latex glove, or just so what you do is you grab a towel, and then you take it the long way, and you fold over the top like 2 inches, and then you take the glove, and then you put it down so that the top of the glove is sticking up above the towel, and then you fold over about 2 inches or so, an inch, and then you start rolling it so that it has this nice roundness to it, and then you take the surgical glove and you pull it around the outside of the glove there of the towel, and then when you look inside, it looks more like an anus or a vagina, and then you put some lube in there, or you can put some lube in it before, and then you go ahead and you put your penis in there, and it feels pretty close
Didn't
to
you
a fleshlight.
microwave it too?
You can
But not too
microwave
hot.
it. Not you can only
Because
really
his
do
friend
it.
did that, and he burned his
it
penis.
burned his penis. So
Yeah.
you can only really do it in about a good 5 seconds or so, and that'll warm it up.
It sounds similar to what I've heard is made in prison commonly for those purposes, and
You done prison time,
it
Chet?
works.
No, I did not.
Prison
So
pussy,
what do they do in prison? I'm really curious now.
I don't have all the details, but honestly, it's more or less what you're describing. They get
Okay.
access to some gloves. They find whatever kind of lubricants they can in there, and they build a device very similar to what you described. Honestly, so
Got it.
We gotta give a speech at
Yeah.
I mean, it's ingenuity. So
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like convergent design or whatever they call it. But it sounds like you came across the same idea, which
There
is
you go.
very effective.
I didn't spend any time in the old clink, but yeah. Do we have any other callers coming in there, Peter?
Yes, we have another caller here. Let me go ahead and put this caller through here. So we have Joey Noki on the line who wants to know how to ask a girl that he likes to be his girlfriend.
Oh.
So let's see here. We've got Joey, or it says the audio is connecting right now.
Okay.
So let's see if this works. I know Joey's out on the line. There we go.
Hey, we are talking sex live right now. Is this Joey?
Yeah, this is Joey Gnocchi over here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can
can
hear
we
you.
can we show your video? Is that okay?
If you don't, I didn't try to do video. I don't know what happened here, but yeah, sure.
Okay, well, here we go. We have a video caller here.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
Yeah. So, Joey, it looks
Hi,
like
Joey.
you are. Where are you at right now?
We're in Burbank, California.
Okay.
We literally just eloped.
Oh, wow.
wow.
Congratulations.
Just
Oh, there's no ring on there,
ring.
but that's okay.
Right.
No worries.
It happens.
So,
I don't wear mine all the time
yeah.
either.
Here's the thing. I asked her in the most romantic place ever,
where's that at?
in the Burbank Hills.
Okay, that's pretty
Okay,
romantic.
that's
Yeah, you
romantic.
go
I
up
wouldn't
to
say number one, though.
yeah, we go up to that hike every once in a while.
You should be a little more specific of your process of
Yeah.
asking.
Well,
Sounds like you
Here's
got the
the
girl.
thing.
What's your question?
Yeah, what's going on, Joey?
okay, I guess I'm calling you because we just eloped,
Uh-huh.
and she already is on my ass about everything.
Oh.
She can put it this way: everything I do is not good enough for her. She used to date a
It's not my
supermodel.
fault.
Oh, wow. A
Oh,
supermodel.
Supermodel.
That's, well, I mean,
male or female?
yeah. Are you
Both.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Two
It's
supermodels.
my kind.
Oh,
Yeah.
or is
My
it,
kind
or
of
is it, was
girl.
this an
Male,
intersexual
male.
person
Should come
who
over
was
sometime.
both genders?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Male.
Male.
Okay.
I was just kidding, male.
Okay.
So you're just trying to figure out how to actually go about having a marriage now. Is that correct? Is that what you are?
When I used to date a supermodel.
Well,
Yeah.
we are getting. The thing about it is, I'm kind of. We can't let go of our past, but we
Got
have
it.
great times together.
Mhm.
So we just had an unbelievable time in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much eloped, drove back here, had incredible car sex.
Oh,
And
sex
now-
while you're driving.
Driving.
Wow. I
We've
don't
done
know.
that a few times.
Yeah, I've gotten some roadhead. I don't think I've
Yeah,
actually
been there.
Don't
had.
recommend it. to the
Yeah,
audience.
you must have a Tesla or something. One of those self-driving cars, right?
Yes, I wish I had one of those. You guys
Yeah.
look great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You look great too. Congratulations. I'm really excited for you. So you're looking for some tips basically on how to go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking on. Here's my question. Sorry. My question is, when you guys first got together and things were kind of new,
Mhm.
and you had these hang-ups about each other, how did you, did you just, just get along? Did you, what did you do? Did you, is there, a thing that you have to agree on? What is this shit? I don't get it.
No, it's all about like a middle road, you know? It's like
compromising
yeah,
and
you're
being honest and open with each other and what you want.
and you're not going to agree 100% of the time on everything. You just have to realize that, I love my wife, I love Diane, and I want her to be happy. And so if you got to say, well, is this thing that I'm doing, is that making her happy? And if the answer is no, this thing is not making her happy, then I have to figure out how to change that. Is this thing that I really like to do that makes me happy, that makes her unhappy? Is it worth it to me to continue to do that? I mean, it goes through all aspects of your relationship, sexual and just normal everyday activity. Like you have to find a middle ground of what will make you happy, what will make your partner happy, and how to actually like
Communicate that.
yeah,
to
and
each
figure
other.
out like is her happiness like for me making Diane happy is makes me happy. And so there's some things that I will say, you know what, it's not worth it to me to do this because it's making her unhappy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Our relationship. Well, here's the question. Here's the thing.
Okay,
Our
another question. Here we go.
That's a
relationship
lot of
is
questions.
based on sex. That's why I'm telling you, our relationship is based on sex.
Yeah,
Based
no,
on sex.
it's all right. I mean, you can find other things besides sex that you enjoy doing together.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, a lot of great relationships start there.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like anything other than sex. Like she doesn't like to hang out.
And
We
your
don't-
problem is
Yeah, what's
what
the
again?
big deal there? I mean, you that's every guy's dream, right? Or are you just saying that you want some more substance to this whole relationship?
I
than
want to
just
hang
having
out.
sex?
I want to actually like play golf together.
Yeah.
Maybe well, maybe go on a hike together.
You
Not
can
just
do
have
that.
sex every
You
Yeah.
can
day.
go hiking and
Yeah.
fuck on the hike if you want. We've done that several
Yeah.
times.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we've had sex on the hike. Trust me.
Okay, no,
Okay.
that's what we do. It's good. But all right,
the
so
best of both
Joey,
worlds.
what's your new wife's name? We didn't get that.
Amelia.
Amelia, what are some things that you like to do
Oh,
besides sex? I mean, sex is a given, but
oh boy.
Walking around her house naked and wanting sex.
that's what Diane does, and that's great. But there's still other things that we like to do. I mean,
We play video games.
Not
Draw.
board
I like to
games.
draw.
She likes to draw.
it's a draw. There you go.
Like to read. He doesn't like to read.
No,
though.
it's fine.
Oh,
She does.
About
Yeah,
going
I
to a
think I
museum
just got-
together. Have you gone to a museum together?
We have gone to a museum. We have gone to a couple museums together. Yes.
Okay.
She gets horny and we end up having crazy sex in the parking lot. But
Yeah, or find a bathroom. That's fine. That's
I mean,
that's
again,
problem is-
you
That's what
haven't
happens.
described anything that anyone on this panel is considering a problem
Yeah,
so
not a
far.
problem
It sounds
at
like
all. I mean, the
you're going
seeds
and
are
doing
what we do all the
some
time,
things,
too.
and then they result in sex, and that sounds like a wonderful relationship.
Not too like shallow
You're a
though.
lucky
Is that-
boy.
Too surface level.
is it too? Are we too surface? Is what she's asking you. Are we too surface?
I mean, are you both loving the sex?
I mean, I don't know. I'm loving it. Are you loving it, Amy? Amelia?
Amelia.
Of
We
course.
lost her.
Yeah.
She likes
Yeah.
it. Most of the time, she's blacked out.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
Well,
not
I hope
okay.
he's not
I mean,
blacked
he's-
out
yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing that.
That may have gone a bit
be
problematic.
like-
Yeah.
We'll step back from that one for a moment.
Supermodel, So.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, a lot of people's relationships are based around one thing that they love sharing. For some people, maybe they're both tennis fanatics and they don't have a lot else in common, but they love tennis together, and maybe sex is your tennis.
And if you like
thank you for the.
if you like
Thank you
sex
for-
and one other thing, then like that's a relationship. I mean, Diane and I, we have a couple core things that we really like. We're big movie buffs and TV buffs, and we both like to write and play video games and superhero stuff. Hike.
A lot of things.
Workout.
and
Love
we
to work
have a
out.
lot of sex, and so that's enough for us. And
One of
so-
my partners, all we do is watch Doctor Who or have sex, and
Yeah.
that's it. And
that's all you need.
that's the beauty of
all
polyamory
you
in my
need.
case. And not that I'm suggesting you need that. I'm just saying in our relationships, that's what one of my partnerships is for. That's my Doctor Who and sex partner.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, we don't have anything in common other than.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it sounds like
Okay.
are you
Hey.
guys okay?
Yeah, we're okay. We're in a good spot. We're about to turn the volume up a little bit here. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. So, I mean, find that one thing that you guys both like together, and then continue to have sex, and then you just got to ask yourself, are we happy? I mean, sometimes things aren't as deep. So if there are going to be some times where sex halts for a few days, and that's when we have those dry spells as well, where we don't have sex for a good 3 or 4
something
days.
happens.
Yeah.
No
It's
way. I don't
emotional.
believe that with you two.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I
yeah.
mean, just like every
happen.
woman has their time a month, and it's just certain, that.
And that may not be enough to stop them either.
No,
but-
I mean, we still have sex most of the time, but every once in a while it's just too much for Diane, and so we don't have sex during those few days, and so it's not a big deal. But
I get.
we gotta.
Do you like bocce?
Do you like Rocky?
She likes bocce. I asked her. I like bocce, and she likes bocce.
Like
Maybe we
bocce
can start
ball?
with that. Sex
There you
and
go.
Bocce
How long
ball.
have you guys known each other? Can I
Yeah.
ask that question?
2 months.
Oh, okay. Wow.
All right. Well,
All right.
well, hopefully you guys can, make it last. It sounds like you guys are happy, and that's
Yeah.
as long as you can ride that wave. There is the whole, what is it, the 7-year itch. I mean, Diane and I have been together for a good
5 years.
5 years, but we're still as happy as the day as we first started fucking. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's hope. Then the thing is, it was lust at first sight. So I believe in it.
okay,
Okay.
well,
Thank you guys.
No problem.
No problem.
Well, have fun.
And again, you guys look amazing.
Oh,
like
thank
this
you.
is you're turning her on. I know that. She's
Oh
gonna be all
yeah,
over me
she's
after looking
she's
at you.
super hot for me right now. I hope you, Joey and Amelia, have a happy marriage, a long marriage. Just make sure to find things that connect with on a deeper level, and find both sexually things that you guys can connect with, and actually make each other happy. My motto when I have sex with Diane is I want to make sure that she's pleased before I'm pleased, and if you keep that one thing in mind when you guys fornicate, I can guarantee you'll have a long sexual
Ooh, we lost.
and
All right.
healthy relationship there. So
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you for calling in.
Hey, listen.
I'm listening.
I'm gonna hit it good, kid. There you go.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Sorry.
Like a rock. Hit it
Like a
hard.
rock.
right,
Yeah,
thanks.
it was hot like a rock.
I'm a huge fan of you guys. Thanks for
Okay.
answering.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Have a
Thanks for
good night
calling.
there.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Stay
Yeah,
sex positive.
Stay
you
sex
too.
positive,
See you
Joey.
later, buddy. We're gonna go have sex in the lobby.
Oh, well, as long as it's decent. Nobody wants to be a sexual on the sex
Registered
registry.
sex
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
permanent.
Trying to go far.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was our. We don't get too many video callers,
we
and
don't.
I'm
That's
glad
great,
that they
though.
decided that they wanted to call in through video, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's good to see who we're talking to sometimes. So
What a spirited caller and new couple. I
Yeah.
hope they're. It sounds like he's concerned. I hope, as you point out, exactly as you were suggesting, that he's not just over concerned that he should be concerned. It's one of those things where people sometimes overthink things and think there's a problem because they think there
Yeah.
should be a problem.
yeah,
But maybe they can just be a couple whose main thing is sex. That's a hobby.
Yeah.
For some people, that can be their main thing. I mean, why or else are we here?
exactly. I mean, if you both find something that you're really connected to, things that really turn you on. Of course, there is some times where you're not having sex, and it would be
If you're
good.
going through emotional stuff, you're not going to want to.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
do
you're
that.
sick, you've got a headache, or
Yeah.
any number of reasons. Someone and some libidos are not. We don't all have control over them. The people who are the horniest people on earth still have their days when they have no libido.
That's right. Well, when I have a headache, I usually like to have sex. 'Cause
Yeah.
It relieves my headache.
it relieves your stress and headache. So we find lots of reasons that normal couples will not have sex for to actually have sex, and it relieves that. Bad day, I'm angry, have sex, and I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah. Turns into the Hulk. and
Yeah. Another thing is that when you have a partner that you you adore and that you basically like put on a pedestal and worship, like little things that bother that, like if it was a normal person like that person is doing, those just go away. Like, because you know what, I put this person on a pedestal, I worship this person. Like, you can talk about some things that might bother you, but like those things just go away because you're like, this person's the world to me, and you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this one stupid little thing. Don't sweat the small stuff. This person's more important to me than whatever that small little stupid thing is. That's would bother me if it was another person, and so those go away. I don't know. Do you find anything like that with your partners there, Peter? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think everyone goes through that cycle. One thing I've always found fascinating when you go through the process of falling for someone is how your entire internal image of them changes. Because you'll meet people and I hope this doesn't come across offensive because again, it's going somewhere positive. But you'll meet someone in real life who you don't find physically attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And there could be any reasons for that. It's not to suggest the person is objectively unattractive. It's just perhaps there's something about them that doesn't quite connect with you.
Yeah,
and then you'll have a conversation with them, and the conversation goes into wonderful places. And you find that you're connecting with them on this amazing level, and they're intelligent and funny and interesting, and somehow their appearance changes inside your own head from someone you didn't find physically attractive to someone you find incredibly attractive, and you want to rip their clothes off right there practically. It's this amazing subjective process we go through internally where we create this reality around us, and so I definitely see that from a physical perspective, like I was just saying, and what you were saying about other things. There's quirks that you can find about someone that are troubling, and then when you fall for the person,
it goes all away.
It goes away, or perhaps sometimes the quirks reverse into something that you kind of like. And of course, you'll see the opposite in many relationships where it's those very quirks that drive people crazy as they fall out of love with someone. And that's the other side of the same coin.
We feel that it is important to constantly please the other person and put them on a pedestal. The converse also works, is that there's been plenty of times where I've been like super sexually attracted to someone, and then I started to get to know that person, and they have a personality that completely clashes with mine, and it's just like that one person who I thought was super beautiful, just like they're not attractive anymore. It's really strange on how that dynamic works. But
yeah, the reverse is true as well. It's like you're an asshole. I'm not really into that
it's just
anymore.
like it doesn't matter how good looking they are. If like if they don't treat you well, like you get completely turned off, and that person's suddenly just like not that attractive anymore. So
like if Henry Cavill was an asshole, maybe I'd still find him
maybe
attractive.
I don't know.
He's pretty hot.
He's pretty. He's a good looking man. So. But yeah, I feel like we had a long, a good marathon there. A lot of good questions there. A lot of stuff about kink. A lot of questions about how to explore your relationships.
I think a lot of open and honest conversation was probably actually the biggest theme of the conversations we had. I think each person really needed to, our first couple really needed to have some conversations with themselves, not even just each other, but with their own internal conversations to understand who they are better.
Well, we're not always honest with ourselves either. We're in denial about things.
Yeah.
Our second caller needs to have a talk with Buddy, as well as himself, to figure out what it is he wants from himself and for himself. And our last callers need to talk with each other and figure out, perhaps maybe they're talking too much, but they need to figure that out and figure out when it's the right time to just shut up and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like they're in a good place right now. Hopefully they can keep that going. But it looks like that's about all. We don't have any questions coming in from the live chat, but that's okay. Diane just keeps on knocking stuff over. She's so horny right now. No,
I
don't know about that. But we're gonna go ahead.
You when I'm horny.
Yeah.
You don't tell me.
I didn't tell you that. Or did I say that? No. All right. Well, we're gonna figure this out. But I hope everybody has a good night. Stay sex positive out there. Thank you so much for having a good night. And always stay safe. And have a good night, Peter.
Talkin' Live with Chet and Diane is recorded in front of a